Welcome back. Today's video is going to be an update for my Project 100 Uses Project Pan. This is a project where I picked very difficult items, all powder products, a lot of face palettes, eyeshadow palettes that I'm trying to get to 100 uses on because I know these are things I will never finish up or maybe never even hit pan on, but I just want to feel like I'm getting my money's worth out of these products. This project was inspired by Too Much Tosh's 100 Club. I will link her in the description box. Check her out. She does a lot of these usage style projects, and there are a lot of other people doing usage projects like the Project 10 Uses, and I am doing that one as well. And then I'm doing another one called Using My Eyeshadow Palettes Project Pan, where I pick 4 palettes at a time, try to get to 20 uses and roll them out. I'm just really trying to rotate through my collection and get good use out of my products because especially the powder products, I know that most of them I will never finish up. Check out my Project Pan playlist for more. I'm also doing a lot of projects though where I am trying to finish items, so you can see those there. At the end of this video, I did want to just show you my spreadsheet, how I track usage, just because I've gotten a lot of questions about that. It's very straightforward, but I thought I'll show you anyway. So that will be at the end of the video. In this update, I did get to 100 uses on 3 different items, which is very, very exciting, and let's get into it. I definitely don't show everything in each update that I am tracking. I just kind of give updates on a few different things. First though, let me actually just explain what I count as usage because this is something I get a lot of questions about. So for an eyeshadow palette, if I did an entire look using like 6 different eyeshadows, that would count as 1 use. If the next day I did my look with another eyeshadow palette and I just took this color on the lower lash line, that still just counts as 1 use. There's a lot of different ways of doing this, so obviously just do what works for you. For me, this makes sense. I do often combine palettes to get a look. Like today, I'm actually wearing 3 different eyeshadow palettes to get this look. So yeah, that just works for me. This palette though, this is a newer palette. This was the last palette I bought before my low buy started in December. Charlotte Tilbury Bejeweled Eyes to Hypnotize. I really, really enjoy this one. And since I purchased this, I have used this 22 times. Also, that is something that I do get asked if I start tracking usage when I first buy the product. And yes, I do. There are some older products that I put in this project that I kind of estimated my usage on, but I've been doing this for 1.5 years. So the majority of my products, I did start counting from the day that I bought the palette or whatever it may be. The next palette is the Natasha Denona Blue and Purple palette, and I have used this one 18 times. I really do like this one. I would not say it's my favorite Natasha Denona palette, and I actually kind of regret spending this much money on an eyeshadow palette in general. So I'm really trying to get my use, and I hope that this is one that I hope I can get to 100 uses maybe later this year. I mean, obviously it takes a while, but yeah, this is one of the most expensive products I've ever purchased. Next up is Mary Luminizer by the Balm, and I have used this highlighter 32 times. This may be my favorite highlighter. I love this. It is a very old school type of product. I actually finished a mini of this many, many years ago. I really do like it. And yeah, I've used it 30 something times and there's not much dip happening here. It's a really pigmented highlighter, but I really love this one. Let's talk about another semi-new eyeshadow palette, and that is the Natasha Denona Glam palette. This is something that I got at the beginning of December, and I have been loving this palette. I ranked all of the palettes I bought in 2020, by the way. I will link that video if you do want to see. I got a lot of palettes last year, which is why I'm really, really trying to get my usage out of them. This one I have used 15 times since I purchased it. I definitely want to use this one more. I love it. This is becoming definitely one of my favorites by Natasha Denona. This face palette by Ofra. This is the Island Time palette. This is a good one for sure. Definitely one of my favorites. I've used this 19 times since I bought it. It doesn't really look like it because these are really pigmented. These blushes by Ofra are really intense. So I go in with a very light hand. I've used the highlighter several times. I've probably used the blushes more than I have this highlighter, but I've definitely used this highlighter as well. And again, it is super pigmented, so I have to go in with a really, really light hand with Ofra Chic products. But yeah, I really like this one. They do sell the different colors in here individually. And yeah, I think Over's Cheek products are some of my favorites. All right, let me show you the 3 things that I did get to 100 uses on, and I haven't updated this project in a while, so some of these I have used well over 100 times now. First up is this Becca Afterglow palette. If you saw one of my project pans, this is in there, and I'm trying to finish it. And no, I have not finished these, but I repressed them into other compacts just because, yeah, these are really, really small and it was hard to get a brush in there. So I've used this well over 100 times now, especially, I mean, if you count using the products after I repress them and all of that. So yeah, use this one a ton. I really want to finish this. So I'm not tracking usage, by the way. Once I get to 100, even though I'm trying to finish this whole product up, I'm not going to keep counting just because I admit it does get a little tedious to be like tallying everything on my spreadsheet every single day. I mean, it's not that bad, but I just think I would get a little stressed out if I was tracking everything to completion or tracking everything in my collection, because I'm definitely not tracking everything, that is for sure. Another one that I've gotten to 100 uses is this Too Faced bronzer. This is the original Chocolate Soleil. I've had this for some time. And look at that. I've used this 100 times, actually more than that now, and I've barely worn off any of that imprint. But I am incredibly light-handed with bronzer. I definitely am someone who, I'm more heavy-handed with my highlighter and my blush, but bronzer, I go pretty light-handed. That's just my, personal preference on how to do my makeup. So for me, panning bronzers is very difficult, which is why I ended up putting several bronzers in this Project 100 uses, because I think I have 10 different bronzers. And yeah, I know that I'm probably not going to finish most of them because it takes me so long to finish a bronzer. So yeah, I've used this over 100 times and it barely even looks like it. All right, and last up is the Viseart Warm Mattes palette. This is definitely one of my favorite palettes. And yes, I've used this over 100 times now. It barely looks like it. This is a really, really tightly pressed formula. You get absolutely no kickback at all. So obviously there are some dents in these shades, but yeah, this is a great palette, very simple. Obviously these colors are not unique by any means, but some of the best matte eyeshadow palettes I've ever tried. And I am trying to track a lot of my more luxury, more expensive makeup because I definitely want to be getting my money's worth. And obviously I'm going to continue using this past the 100 uses. But yeah, this palette is really simple, but a really, really good formula. Alrighty, let me just show you how I track usage on my spreadsheet. It is just a Google Doc on my computer. Really, really easy, straightforward. So I've got different columns. The first one that's in red, that is Cheek products such as blush, highlighter, and face palettes. So as you can see, all of those. So what I do is I open this up after I do my makeup and I just increase the number next to it. It's really straightforward. Again, very, very easy. So you can see those are some other face products that I am tallying. Then we have the blue column, which is eyeshadow palettes. And as you can see, those are the ones that I'm tallying right now. So again, I finish my makeup, go into this spreadsheet, and I just increase the number. So if, one day I use the Glam palette, I'm going to increase that from 15 to 16. So again, pretty straightforward. And then next to that, I did cut off the numbers not to spoil my projects, but then I have the project 10 uses that I'm doing. I put those items there individually. And then below that, there are 4 palettes. Those are the ones in my using my eyeshadow palettes project pan. And then below that, I have individual items that are in other projects. So right now I do have a MAC lipstick in my deck of panning project pan that I'm trying to get to 10 uses out. So I put all of that in that column. So it's really, really straightforward. And because it's on my computer, it's really, really easy to change the numbers every day after I do my makeup. Obviously, you could do this on a piece of paper or something like that, but for me, it's just much easier to do it electronically. And then to the right of that, which I'm not showing, but I do have a column of all of the things that I get to 100 uses on. So that one is actually getting pretty long, which is exciting. Maybe I'll do a video on that at some point where I talk about all the things that I've used over 100 times. Because yeah, right now, there's 24 different things on that list, which is very exciting. I definitely want to be using these products. I want to get my money's worth. That is really my main intention behind doing these project pans that are just usage, because it's a lot of pressure to try to finish something up. Like I said, bronzer, max, I could finish 1 bronzer a year. Same with blush, I could finish max 1 per year, but I have so many other products that I just want to get my usage out of them. That is it for this update, pretty straightforward. I'm excited that I got to 100 uses on a few more things. Hopefully, you know, maybe like once a month I'll get to 100 on different things. But as you can see based on the tallies, some of the things are only like 15 uses. So obviously it's going to take some time. I will link my Project Pan playlist and my Pan That Palette playlist. I started new playlists for this year. So if you want to catch up on those, I will link those in the description box. That is it. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.